What's good, everybody? It's your boy Zach. I'm here to talk a little bit about when to know when it's time to leave your tech sales job. This is something that's come up time and time again when I'm speaking to my colleagues. Let's go ahead and get into it, straight into it. First things first, you guys know the drill. If you haven't liked, followed, subscribed by now, make sure you do that. Getting ready to, just keep putting the foot to the gas. These videos are coming out a lot more consistently than they used to. So, just know that. But essentially, what I want to talk about today is, you've potentially been with a company for 2-3 years and you're wanting to move up or out and you're kind of struggling to make that decision. This is something that I've been in that situation numerous times. And when you're talking about tech sales in general, it's just kind of the reality of the business. It's the nature of the beast, if you will. And one thing that I always tell sales pros, especially BDRs to be specific, is you have to treat this thing like a business. It's not a situation where you're just an employee, right? I've said this in some of my other videos as well. It's something that you have to really adopt the mindset of, I'm a strategic sales partner to this group, right? So you want to continue to be valuable to whatever company you're a part of. But at the same damn time, you have to understand that people kind of get left in the dust in this space. If they don't know how to stick up for themselves and how to negotiate internally, it could be a problem. So understand this. Number one, every single interaction you have is a form of negotiation. Now, obviously, I don't mean that literally. You're not getting on every single Zoom call, every single Slack, whatever, and trying to negotiate with people. That's not the point that I'm making. What I am saying is you're building your internal brand, and that matters. When you want to get paid, your internal brand matters. So you want to obviously use your voice, but you want to say very thoughtful and educated things when you get your chance to speak, right? So everything you say should be something worth listening to. Your performance should speak for itself, right? Performance, that's the bare minimum. You have to perform, whether it's booking meetings, whether it's getting deals closed, whether it's providing value from a strategic standpoint, whether it's providing value from a leadership standpoint, whether it's just having a good ass vibe and having good energy. All of those things matter in this space because we're all trying to win. It's very similar to being on a sports team. It really is. A lot of people don't think about it that way, but you have to be a good teammate. You have to provide different slide decks. You have to write content. You have to make really positive and powerful suggestions. But again, that's the baseline. When you talk about performing, that's just the baseline. When it's time to negotiate and when it's time to make the decision of, damn, should I leave this company? Whole different ballgame, right? So like I said, a scenario that is very common is you have the BDR that's been there for 2-3 years and is struggling to get promoted to an AE or into some type of leadership role. I'll put it like this. More times than not, your company is going to let you down. That's just the sad reality. Like, people love the sexy new candidate with the sexy resume from past experiences that's mostly fabricated and largely irrelevant to the job that they're being recruited for. For whatever strange, really bizarre reason, a lot of hiring managers just like that. The idea of hiring somebody new. The idea of promoting from within and bringing people up and helping them to continue to build their career. It's just not as sexy to a lot of managers. At least in my experience, I know in a lot of other people's experiences, I've witnessed the exact same thing. If you feel differently, just leave that in the comments. Maybe you've seen something different. You probably noticed this little black spot on my hand. This was like a blood blister that just randomly, I don't know, man. This thing is looking pretty ugly. It looks like a mole almost. But anyway, I'll get that fixed. The point being is, all right, it's going to be really difficult moving up, right? You want to continue to try to jockey for position and try to get to that point where you can have a mutual action plan with your boss to get promoted. But you also always have to shop your value elsewhere. It's just, it's the truth, I've been able to, just in the past 4 years, I've been able to 3x my OTE, just from the standpoint of, okay, I've been loyal to a couple of companies, but extremely loyal. Didn't get the opportunity to move up for whatever reason. It really doesn't matter. But opportunities presented themselves in increases of like 20 to 50% increments in terms of price, in terms of OTE increase, on target earning increase, just for moving into a new role, right? So whether that's a different stage company, whether that's just a different opportunity, whether it's just you're coming from a really massive Fortune whatever company and then moving into a smaller company, a lot of times that's really attractive, so they're willing to pay you more, right? So one of the key indicators that I will just throw out right away that, it might be time for you to leave your tech sales job is if you are consistently not getting anywhere from like a 10 to a 15% pay increase each year with the opportunity to move to an elevated role almost year in and year out, right? Maybe not every single year, but if not every couple of years, then there should be some reason to be concerned, right? So I mean that's number one. Number two, if you're just not getting the type of paychecks that were originally described in the interview process, I mean it's just a key indicator. Let's just be honest, bro. Like, you're not getting paid the way you want to be paid. If you're performing, then that's a whole different problem. It's probably time to take that into consideration already. It's like, I'm performing, still not getting the type of paychecks that I feel like I deserve. That's number two. And then lastly, probably the biggest one is if there's any type of crossing of your values, any type of display of dishonesty, any type of acts that lack integrity by your bosses, by fellow coworkers, fellow account executives, fellow BDRs, and that type of stuff is it's being allowed to take place, bro, you got to get out of there. You got to start looking at other opportunities. So at the bare minimum, if you're going to stick around for that and you're performing, keep in mind that performance is a baseline. But if you're going to stick around for that, you're performing, hey, if I'm going to stick around, I need this amount. If I can't get this amount, then I will have to pursue other opportunities. It's sometimes it can be an ugly conversation. Sometimes it can be simple. But each time you get your chance to negotiate, don't ever let your value to that company stay the same. If you're gaining in experience by a year, if you are performing, if you've been a valuable contributor, why the hell would you be worth the same amount that you were worth last year? That makes no sense. It makes zero sense. Why would you be this? Because if they were going to hire somebody to replace you, they would have to pay them more, and they would have to go through the entire painful process of, seeking out a new candidate that could even do your job in the first place. Then they have to train that individual, and that takes time, right? So there should be no fear or no hesitancy about asking for more money. This is business, bro. And like I said at the beginning of the call, we are sales partners. Whether we're W-2 or not, some people might be 1099 watching this. Hey, we're partners. So, I'll leave it at that. Those are my three things just to kind of recap. Number one, if you're not getting paid the way that it was originally described, or that you felt like you should be getting paid, if you're performing, still not getting opportunities to advance, or if they're just consistently doing fishy little shady things when it comes to your territories, when it comes to your quotas, when it comes to comp plans, when it comes to commission percentages, you name it, or even just getting backstabbed by some of your teammates. This type of stuff happens, but you have to be ready for it. Again, like, subscribe to my channel. I'm getting ready to continue putting this type of stuff out. I'm gonna start doing some shorts as well, like I used to do. Yeah, peace.